everybody, once again. Thank you for joining us at Art1st Live. I think this is the second time that I've done this. We're just going to get our artist mentor Gopa on the call. She's as new to Instagram Live as I am. My phone almost fell. Rivka, if you're watching this, can you please get in touch with Gopa and help her out? Because I tried to the last time and it disconnected. Oh great, Gopa's here and she'll be joining us now. We're waiting for her. She will be here soon. Hello!
Hi, how are you?
Hi Gopa, nice to see you. Was it difficult to navigate all the way from your phone to Instagram Live?
I was hearing you requesting Rivka to help me out, and I had sent you the request, and then Rivka had called me in between, so it got stuck.
Oh, it's a roundabout and we will get to it soon. But Instagram Live followers of Art1st, this is Gopa Trivedi. She's an incredibly talented artist and she is a brilliant, brilliant art educator. And I'm so excited that there are so many people here to listen to us talk. And it's so nice to see all of your messages and your waves and your hearts in the Instagram Live sessions below. So let's jump straight into it because we planned this to be a whole conversation, and Gopa and I are super excited to talk to all of you while talking to one another. Gopa, if we can start, can you please tell us about what drew you to the arts as a student?
Well, as a student, I used to always be painting, and all I can remember is that everybody was after my life. And they used to be scolding me most of the time, and they were like, "Kya karogi, artist banogi? Kya karogi, artist banogi?" and all of that. So this was the taunt that I used to get all the time. And yeah, and even when I went to the boarding, there also I was the go-to person for everyone to paint. So I used to be painting for everyone in my boarding as well. Um, I think by the end of it, all the teachers also in my school were like, my mother and my parents used to go to the teachers meeting and they would be like, tell us something about your daughter, and they would just say that you don't have to worry, she's very good at art. But they were like, but we have come to ask you about her, other subjects like chemistry or history, or they say, no, don't worry, she's going to be an artist. So I think my school has a huge role to play, because they in the school I never felt like they always promoted people or students who are good in whatever they do. And so I would say, and my teacher at school, Miss Rashmi Kapoor, she was the one. I was going for designing. I wanted to go into NIFT or NIT, and she was the one. She was like, I want you to at least go uh, to Baroda and give this exam, and then think about it. Just give the exam, and if you don't want to go, don't go. But she was the one who forced me to go there, and I went. I just loved the place, and then I think I never went back. So, and I'm glad that she kind of pushed me towards it.
So a supportive teacher is extremely important for you just as a student and then as a mentor and a guide. And it seems that you've had a pretty positive journey, like, within the arts, from being the go-to artist, like art producer, art replicator, to being, the independent artist.
Yeah, at least I was not made to things like what you're not good at was not pointed out. And I would say that really happened in my that I would give full credit to my school and my teachers over there, irrespective of whichever subject. Like even my maths teacher would be like, "You don't worry, don't worry."
And that's so important to just have a nice maths teacher. Not many of us can say that.
Yeah. So all of them were extremely supportive.
As an artist, then, how do you think your past experiences influence your creative process? Or rather, could you take us through your creative process in case there are things that you can draw from your past, maybe, not necessarily as a student, but just a young person exploring this world?
Uh, well, there's not one thing that I can point out to, but it has been a journey of what I understood as what is creativity. Earlier it was just about me trying to do something painting because I love to paint, I love to sketch, I love to draw. But uh, as when I went to college, it was a totally different world of understanding we where we were exposed to, like, I always loved history, but then the um, entire world of art history that opened up, and then getting a new perspective to history altogether. And in this entire journey, when I started working, my interest in material grew. And the more and more I wanted to know about the history or the technique of my own work, it also got me closer to one subject that I used to like hate. I fell in love with chemistry, and I just now I just I just love that as a subject, and I feel that that was a perspective I wish I had at that point of time, that I would have got uh, while I was growing up. But nonetheless, in the process, I I kind of see more and more connections, and I don't see any subject or anything that I do in alienation. I see it as a rhizomatic connection between all the things, all the streams. Uh, yeah.
That's so nice. I quite like that it took art to draw you to chemistry. Like, did it start with drawing the beakers and then drawing the arrows, or what was
No,
that kind
no,
of interest?
no. So what I hated about chemistry was I had to mug up valencies. I was very good at balancing uh, equations, but I had to mug up valencies, which I couldn't do. And plus, I couldn't understand the application of chemistry. I was like, where will I
Mm.
apply it? Why do I even need to waste my time over it? Like, that was my attitude. But with the with my practice, when I went to Jaipur, stayed with my teacher, Mr. Ajay Sharma. And of course, my college teachers, Vasudevan Akitam, he had asked me to go for internship there. So when I had gone there, I saw the way he taught me how to make colors, and the way he treated the color, the process that goes behind it, the understanding of material, the nature of how each color reacts to acid, to alkaline bases, and all these things. So, and there was a lot of experiment, trial and error, and knowing about the basic things that one learns in chemistry, and also going beyond, definitely.
Mm.
So that is what drew me towards this, but it has been the other way.
It's quite beautiful though, and it's so interesting that it was after you exited school, that after you were done with school, that you were drawn to a school subject.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you feel like the path that it followed, at least for you personally, is that somewhat how you would then approach art integrated learning, which is something that we have to focus on as art educators?
Definitely. I would definitely I I look at it. I feel art integrated learning is so important. I don't even like the separate segregation of streams. I feel there is art to everything, there's science to everything, there's a history to everything. So you can't separate them as subject. Each thing or each object has its own science history, and I don't know, like, if I'm making sense, but or art to it. And so I mean, even teaching, like teaching also, after I joined Art1st, and I got in contact with the pedagogue and got to know about the pedagogy, which in a way is the science of teaching. So so you have one art of teaching, then you have the science behind it, which is where the pedagogy helps you. And these things have made me believe more and more that these segregations are just should be looked at as, yeah.
That's that's really cool, Gopa. I like how you put it as the art of teaching and the science behind that art of teaching. But you specifically are an artist and an art educator. Now we're kind of going to go into what I've been waiting to hear from you. What is the most rewarding part about being an art educator?
See, I have a very selfish reason to be an art educator, like why I decided, because I have personally learned most when I teach. It's while explaining to somebody else anything, um, I have learned the most always, because that puts me in a position of responsibility, and that's what then I feel the need to push beyond my own comfort zone in order to be able to answer others' questions. This is what has happened to me while growing up. So, and after passing out from college, I did feel that maybe there was a lot more that I needed to know, and of course, I still need to know. But I feel once you are in a field where you are challenged every time, because be it students or if you have to teach something to someone, you have to be up all the time. You can't be comfortable that this much I have known till now, and I don't need to know any longer. I feel like you need to
Absolutely.
know more and more in order to
In order to
and like
teach, you have to constantly be learning.
yeah, and it's not like even the younger children, the newer generation that's coming up, they already know so many things, and they come up with
You
such
learn
challenging,
from them.
yes, and you they come up with such challenging questions, and you're like, when my teacher gave me that answer, I was okay with it, like, but these kids are not going to be okay with it. So
What is the one question that kind of stands out, maybe from one of the schools that you have been visiting?
I did a very stupid thing one school. So it wasn't a question, it was a reaction to my question, stupid question actually. I asked a child, what is the meaning of your name? And the child gave me a look like, was just staring at me. I was like, what is the meaning of your name? Like, my name, no, it will mean me. So I was like, okay, sorry.
That's also a good answer.
Yeah, I mean, it was a stupid question from my side.
No stupid questions ever. So I get like from that question, there's a lot of interaction that you do with the students as well as the teachers that work with these students. And when you're teaching something as specific as art education to an educator or to a student, there are certain tools and tricks that you may have picked up or that you've kind of imbibed along the way. Is there something that you use to fall back on or something that you specifically enjoy?
Yeah, so like I said, during this course over while I've been at art, uh, my interaction or the exposure that we've had as a team to the pedagogue and their methodologies. So there, one thing which is really stuck with me is the questioning skills, because I feel a good teaching is nothing but um, art of asking good questions. Like if you know how to ask relevant questions, it's not like just asking questions for the heck of it, that why, not that, but asking questions that will lead to a deeper understanding. And uh, and one thing that I also have understood, that teachers always feel the burden that I need to know everything, which everybody
Absolutely.
feels. But it's okay at times to not know things also. But when you open up, sometimes the question, like open up the discussion to other children, sometimes there are many answers that you get from themselves, from the students themselves. They only come up
Hmm.
with solutions, and I think that is what uh, actually leads to good creativity. That is what opens up creativity. When it's not a teacher-student relationship for me, I don't think it should be that, oh, my teacher is going to give me all the answers. Whereas teacher and student should be able to figure out the answers together. And the teacher also should be okay about saying that I don't know. I mean, I think that's something that I have realized over the years, that it's not always necessary. It's okay to say that, okay, let me find out.
Yeah, it's okay to be a student, just to be a lifelong learner. And I feel like being a teacher is a great place to be a lifelong learner, because your students are going to come from, like, your students probably are better than you at Instagram Live also, like they definitely would know how to log into the call. Like, I also keep calling it a call as well. But I think that was really, really insightful. And we have one question, but before that, thank you everybody for joining us and for listening to our conversation. And Gopa, I have one last question for you, and you're going to have to think very, very hard, because it's a super important question. Okay?
Okay.
If you had unlimited resources, like unlimited access to all the resources in the world, what would your ideal class look like? Your ideal art classroom?
Okay. So there would not be, it would be like an open ground, no white walls and things like that. And since it's very hot at times, most of the times actually in India, so I would rather have glass walls all across, with the option of that chromatic glasses, that they can become like that, that the glasses that become little shaded
Darker
white
in the
when too
sun.
much of sun. Yeah. And the floor would be like a blackboard, which can be like written upon. Children can write on it. And there would be no seats as such, but the floor will have these open wardrobe sort of a thing, that you open up the floor and you need to sit and work, need a working table, open up the floor, sit down, like, Japanese seating arrangements. Within the floor, you have like a step, you go inside, there's a table inside that you work. And then when you need your classroom to turn into an open ground, just close those openings, and then the entire classroom turns into a ground, and there's nothing all around except colors or things like that. So that children can work while lying down as well. As a child, I love to work with, lying down on the floor. And that's how I used to do most of the time. And there would be definitely music. I mean, and also certain puzzles and yeah, a lot of things. Like, I'm still right
I
now
like that this is a question with like an endless answer. I feel like,
yes, I
you
keep
and I can
adding.
just go on and on. There can be this and there can be that, and we can just build on this whole universe. But
Like,
it
I
sounds
like the
really
idea that the
nice.
floor can be worked upon. Like, you could do the drawings on the floor and then just walk over it. Like, there should be no this thing
Just
that,
roll around in chalk, and then you'll be part of the work as well.
yes.
I like that. It's a classroom without walls, and the floor is also actually a canvas. So
Yeah.
everything they touch will be like this wonderful learning experience. It'll be so tactile and just so incredible. And that was a lovely answer, Gopa. Thank you so much for talking to me and just having this really cool conversation. Thank you everybody else for joining us on
Thank you,
Instagram Live.
Wynona.
And you're welcome. Thanks. Just big thank you for joining our first session. Next week, we will be speaking to Gopa's colleague, my colleague, artist mentor Abhinav, who is also, I feel like everybody I work with is so incredibly talented and they're so insightful and they're such amazing people. And I'm so glad that I get to share all of them with our Art1st viewers.
Wynona, you are really cute. I've always told you this. You're really cute.
Thank you, Gopa. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.